So I'm going to start with Spin Sisters, okay, and then we'll move on to your fanzine, your zine, in the second half of the interview. So Spin Sisters, is it correct? You're a DJ collective. Is that what you are?
Yeah, we're a women and non-binary DJ collective, and we run DJ workshops every couple of weeks, and also open decks, and are just generally sort of a way. We have a group and we post like call for DJs for like different DJ nights and different opportunities to DJ at any sort of student event.
So the fact that you're women only, then is that because like women and non-binary people obviously are underrepresented in the DJ industry?
Definitely within Oxford circles. The collective sort of started because me and my friend Lil, who used to run Country Living with me, were complaining about how there were just no women DJs. I used to run club nights and I used to just find it impossible to find women to DJ our nights. So she taught me how to DJ and we just set up our own thing.
So you teach, you do kind of workshops and also like live performances, but surely you must have been very badly affected by the pandemic now then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But so we weren't able to do anything at all really over lockdown. But we think as long as government regulations remain the same, that we'll be able to do sort of smaller events for people who are more committed. So our like first few workshops had about 20 people who went to them in Hillary last year. And so this year we'll have to have a maximum of 4 people, but hopefully we'll be able to teach those people really well and be able to invest more time in them. And if we can have a few more people that we're able to teach, it should work out okay, hopefully. And we'll be doing live streams and sort of different like mixes on SoundCloud. So it should be all right. I'm feeling slightly optimistic, but we'll see.
I guess that's an advantage of the fact that you guys are DJs rather than say like instrumentalists, because you're doing kind of electronic music anyway that you would be using technology for. So I guess you can just kind of upload it as it is, as you would be performing it.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a shame to be missing out on the social aspect.
Yeah, no, definitely. So for people to join Spin Sisters, what's the kind of skill and experience level that's needed? Obviously you do your own teaching, but is it, beginners up?
Oh yeah, literally absolutely nothing. If you're interested in DJing at all, join our group. We have Facebook. We literally just got Instagram a few days ago. Message us, and we have a group generally where people can ask any questions related to DJing and different people will answer. And yes, but we also have a few more experienced DJs as well. So it's just a group for anyone interested in DJing whatsoever.
So do you find that there are lots of students like that who kind of have a sort of, that's something that they would actively want to try, or is it the kind of thing that you have to like mention to people? Because obviously it's not, most people don't start doing that when they're young or whatever. I guess, do you have to kind of like promote it to sort of awaken an interest in people for being a DJ?
I think with women especially, because at least for me, when I started, it took a little while to convince me because I just never seen a woman who was also a student DJing. So it never even occurred to me that I could do it easily myself. So I think it's really important to have sort of groups like these where there's platforms specifically for women and non-binary people so that they can see other people doing it. And yeah, there were so many girls, I think especially like girls who love dancing and love going out and just love music generally, who it just never occurs to until they see other people doing it.
And I guess actually, I suppose being in Oxford is kind of a great place for something like this, because obviously there are college bops that you could, I guess, is that something that you've looked into doing? Maybe like having your DJs perform at college bops, or just, do the like DJing at college bops, basically for free and exposure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, DJs are your best friend if you're trying to learn bops are your best friend if you're trying to learn how to DJ, because literally everyone's drunk. No one really cares what you're playing or if you're mixing badly, or there's just no expectation. So you can go in, play some Kesha, play like a dubstep remix of High School Musical and you're good and people will love you for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, bops are amazing practice.
And I suppose is the fact that it's DJing, which tends to be quite, you know, require specific equipment, can that be a bit prohibitive, or how does that work? Do people have to like, do you provide equipment for people, or what?
So there's two types of DJing. You have one which is called CDJs, which are really, really expensive equipment, which is like sort of everything in what it's like all the stuff that you need sort of divided into three, and that can cost up to about 10 grand. It's really expensive. But you also have another type of DJing which is just with a controller, which has all the like boxes that you need sort of combined together, and you just plug into your laptop, and that you can get one on eBay secondhand for like £90. So it's still expensive, but there is free DJ software that you can just download onto your laptop. So there's Serato, there's Virtual DJ, and those are all really helpful to get started with and play about with for free if you just want to try it out and see if it's for you.
Yeah, I guess that's the kind of thing with DJing, because it's obviously, like I said, it's not something that people do a lot of the time when they're younger. So there must be a lot of kind of like experimenting that you do with like new students, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what's really fun with the workshops, is seeing people try things out for the first time and how excited they are to try something completely new and be able to play around with all the equipment. It's just really fun to watch.
Yeah. So do you find that most of the people who kind of are keen to get involved with you guys are music students, or is it like a broad range of just people across the uni?
Oh, not at all. It's people from who do STEM subjects, who do humanities subjects, anything at all will get involved. I do English, but the girl I set it up with does biochem, like anyone from all over the uni.
That's interesting, because I guess it's a bit different from like a lot of, like I said, like instrumentalists, because I don't know, to what extent does it require like technical musical knowledge? Like I know you say you take beginners, but is it something that, say, if you've played an instrument when you're younger, you're at an advantage with, or is it basically everyone starting from the same level?
Um, I don't play any instruments, but maybe it does help to where you have a good, better ear for the beats, but not really. You don't need any technical knowledge at all. Like basically all you're doing when you're mixing while DJing is combining sort of the beats per minute, and like just you make sort of equalize the tempo and then shift the stuff about so it's at the same beats per minute, and that's all you really need to do. Obviously there's other stuff involved, but for beginners it's quite easy to just start DJing.
Yeah. So where can freshers find out more about the Spin Sisters, and where are you on social media?
So we have a Facebook page, we have a Facebook group as well. You can always message me on Facebook or Instagram or anything at all, and we have a new Instagram account called Spin Sisters Ox, which we've just set up. So any of those.
Okay, cool. So onto your zine then. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about your zine, That's Hot? Do you want to just tell us what you guys do?
So That's Hot is a brand new sustainable fashion zine. And it sort of started out because I used to run Country Living, which is a feminist scene, last year with a few other people, and I couldn't really bear the idea of going into my third year and not doing anything zine related. So I know a lot of people who make these amazing clothes and are taking commissions and who wanted to sell their stuff, and I thought I'd create a platform where I could promote them. I could sort of provide a place for people to do some like fun photoshops, to write articles about sustainability, and I'm really excited about it. I have a team of about 35 really amazing people who are really excited to get started, and yeah, we have a lot of ideas in the works.
Okay, so is it like, obviously it's a fashion magazine, but is it basically just focusing on clothes that happen to be sustainable, or is environmentalism something that you guys are really passionate about?
Yeah, well, both. We're going to take articles about anything at all, and we're also going to do a lot of photo shoots, sort of like showcasing sustainability in different ways. So I've got one in the works, like specifically about sustainability within the queer scene. Another one is like used ball gowns. One sort of is centered on like homemade corsets. So yeah, so sustainability as it intersects with different subcultures, as it intersects with different races, and yeah, it's going to be really good, I think.
So it's a lot broader than just fashion then, because obviously like it's branded as like a sustainable fashion magazine, but that's not the image you want to promote. You want it to be about like a whole variety of different kind of like cultural things.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what people come up with. We've got the call for submission coming out in a couple of days, and I'm very much open to any pitches about anything sort of remotely related to fashion or sustainability at all. And it's definitely going to be very much like not a single creative vision or me imposing anything at all. Like anyone who wants to get involved can, and write anything, or like if they're more interested in the creative side, to illustrate. So yeah.
Cool. And I saw on your Facebook that you put on events. Like, what kind of events do you guys do? Well, would you guys be doing?
So I'm not really sure how things are going to work just yet, because I'm quite against virtual events unless it's for panels, because I really like the social side of real life events, and also specifically with That's Hot, because the original plans were to do a lot of workshops like jewelry making and tie-dye workshop and things like that. It couldn't quite work virtually because you need us to provide the materials to that. So hopefully eventually by Hillary or maybe Trinity, or even next year when I'm gone, we'll be able to run stuff. Yeah. So we'll see, really. It's with COVID, it's all a bit touch and go. I'm just going to be quite last minute about events.
Yeah. So another thing that you guys do is like feature designers. Is that something that a lot of students are keen to do? I mean, I'm not personally very aware of it, but it's kind of fashion design very popular among students.
I was really surprised when I put out applications and sort of expected about 4 or 5 people to be interested, about the amount of people who applied and also make their own clothes. It's really, really common, I think, now, especially. People are really interested in embroidery, and generally, like, upcycling is such a big thing right now, of like painting your jeans or like embroidering stuff on your shirts. So yeah, it's actually really cool how many people are doing that right now. There's about, I think, 12 or 13 designers that we currently have in our group chats, and I imagine there'll be more once That's Hot has more of a like established platform.
Yeah, and so from what it sounds like, this like That's Hot, it's the same as with Synthesis, is you're very committed to not just featuring already kind of experienced and talented designers, but also teaching people who maybe don't have any experience of it, weren't into it when they were younger, and now want to get into designing and stuff. Is that something that you're committed to?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely like a very open platform to encourage anyone who wants to get involved or wants to get started, to make their own stuff. And we'll be doing a lot of like little tutorials on our Instagram, like how to use a sewing machine for beginners, and like quite basic examples of embroidery to sort of encourage people.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. So there are a lot of zines out there at the moment. Would you say that you've kind of found your niche? Is that maybe underrepresented, like sustainability within fashion, like a kind of an underrepresented sector of the kind of like student magazine?
Yeah, I think so. I'm really excited about how many zines are popping up this year. It's really nice because even just like last year when I was doing country living with a few others, like there weren't that many, like even a year ago. So it's really lovely to see people making their own stuff. And there were a lot of digital magazines that popped up over lockdown. I do think lockdown got people into being more creative, if there's any sort of benefit to it. It does look like people were just like, you know what, I'm gonna do something too. I'm gonna start something out. So it's really great to see. I'm really glad.
And so you mentioned that That's Hot is on Facebook. Is that where freshers should go to like find out more about that and get involved with that?
Yeah, absolutely. If they so that That's Hot has a Facebook and Instagram, and you can DM us on that or even message me privately. That's fine as well. If they want to get involved, and there'll be the call for submissions coming out in a couple days, so people can just like fill out that Google form and get into contact with one of our editors if they want to write or even model or photograph or anything like that.
Cool. Well, that's great. Thank you very much for your time, and good luck with both of your little your enterprises.
Thank you so much. This was lovely. Thank
No
you.
worries. Cheers.